Cambodian or Khmer literature has a very ancient origin. Like most Southeast Asian national literatures, its traditional corpus has two distinct aspects or levels: a written literature, mostly restricted to the royal courts of the Buddhist monasteries; the oral literature, which is based on local folklore. It is heavily influenced by Buddhism, the predominant religion, as well as by the Hindu epics Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ancient stone inscriptions, a testimony of the antiquity of the Khmer language are the multitude of epigraphic inscriptions on stone. The first written proof that has allowed the history of the Khmer Empire to be reconstructed are those inscriptions. These writings on columns, stelae and walls throw light on the royal lineages, religious edicts, territorial conquests and internal organization of the kingdom. Buddhist texts. Following the stone inscriptions, some of the oldest Khmer documents are translations and commentaries of the Pali Buddhist texts of the Tripitaka written in the Khmer script. These texts were written with stencils by the monks on palmyra palm leaves. They were kept in various monasteries throughout the country, and many did not escape the destruction of the Khmer Rouge. Rimka. The Rimka is the Cambodian version of the Ramayana, the famous Indian epic. The Rimka comes in rhymed verses and is staged in sections that are adapted to Cambodian dance movements interpreted by local artists. The Rimka is the oldest form of Cambodian theatre. The Robum Sovan Matcha have certain dance from the Rimka about Hanuman and Sovant Marcha. The Golden Mermaid is one of the most renowned pieces of classical dance in Cambodia. Cambodian Royal Chronicles. The Cambodian Royal Chronicles or Cambodian Chronicles are a collection of 18th and 19th century historical manuscripts that focus on the time from around the year 1430 to the beginning of the 16th century. There exist around 34 copies of chronicles in Khmer language, along with 3 texts transcribed in Latin in the French National Library. The oldest chronicle, the fragment of Ang Eng, dating to 1796, was also translated into Thai language. It only describes the reign of Param Nibbana to the reign of Param Rajarai. Further works of the complete chronicle of Ukanavansa Sarbanan, the complete chronicle of Samtek Kova Vamnguon, the chronicle of Vatt Kokkak and the Ambalki Satr. Popular legends. Khmer folklore has a rich and varied oral tradition. There are many popular legends, tales and songs of ancient origin about mythical heroes, heroines and ghosts. These were not put into writing until the 19th and 20th centuries. Before then they had been memorized and told for generations. Many of these tales borrow features and plots from the Indian epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as from the Buddhist Jataka tales. They also often show Siamese influence. The oral tradition legends were often extremely long stories in rhyming verses. The heroes were mostly princes and supernatural beings, and the scenarios were often connected to the palaces and the monasteries. One important purpose of these legends and stories handed down for centuries was to transmit norms and values. Most stories emphasize the peaceful resolution of conflicts. References to geographical landmarks and the meanings of the names of Cambodian locations were transmitted through the tales. One of the most representative of these tales was the story of Vivan and Solvang, a long tale of the Khmer oral tradition about 2 Khmer princes that fell into disgrace who, after a series of ordeals, regained the status. Vivan and Solvang was first put into writing by Auguste Pavie as Vivan and Solvang. This French civil servant claimed that he had obtained the folk legend version he wrote down from a old Uncle Nip in Sam Rayom Tong district. The story was put into writing in Battambang. In 2006, the Vivan and Solvang story was enacted in dance form by the Royal Ballet of Cambodia. There are two hills in Kirarom National Park, Phnom Sruk District and Kampong Spu Province, named after the two heroic princely brothers, Vivan and Solvang. Phnom Kong Ray is a local mountain with a Khmer folktale as a reference. Tumtiv is a classic tragic love story set in Tebong Khmer province that has been told throughout the country since at least the mid-19th century. It is based on a 17th or 18th century poem of uncertain origin, probably having originated in a more ancient Cambodian folk legend. Nowadays Tumtiv has oral, literary, theatre, and film versions in Khmer, although its first translation in French was made by Etienne Imonier in 1880. Tumtiv was popularized abroad when writer George Chiggers translated the 1915 literary version by the Venerable Buddhist monk Priya Bottumthera Som, or Padma Thera Som, known also as Som.